the Most High God Yahweh. We do so in the name of
Assad, my lawyer.
Let's make sure we share this. Share it, saints.
Share it, saints.
Let's share this.
Okay.
Share it, saints. Shout out to everybody from everybody from the notification gang. Get your notifications up. All right. Make sure to sign up for notifications.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell. So when we are live, you're getting that automatic notification on your devices. You're able to tune in. Salakia, forgive the cough. I've been trying to drink this apple cider vinegar. Cough is yet to subside. The Lord willing, will soon. So Salakia, bear with me. But you know, first and foremost, Shabbat Shalom, YASHARAHLA. The last day of this last Shabbat of this lunar cycle, new moon is next week. It comes in next Friday night, so it'll put us on par with brothers who partake in the Friday, brothers and sisters that partake in the Friday and Saturday night Sabbath. It'll put us on par for that month. Lord willing, we're gonna actually open up some dialogue about the topic of Friday, Saturday versus lunar Sabbath and things of that nature during that time period, in the spirit's a perfect time period for it. So, you know, Lord willing, we'll be opening some dialogue in regards to that. For those of y'all that don't know, today marks a decade or 10 years of me being in the truth, or, you know, knowing and acknowledging my identity as a Hebrew Israelite of the tribe of Levi. I learned this 10 years ago on World Star Hip Hop. For those of y'all who aren't familiar with my story, I'll just give a little background. If y'all ever want to see the video too that woke me up, it's on this channel. It's called the Guerrilla Hebrew Baptism video. So if you just type in Guerrilla Hebrew Baptism on the YouTube search, it'll pop right up. And it's a video from the Elders of Great Millstone, namely Tahara speaking. So that's the video that woke me up or baptized me, washed me with water by the word, pursuant to Ephesians 5:26, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, 10 years ago. And here I am now, by the grace of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So I give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High through Yahweh Shai for that. In 10 years, I've seen a lot of people come and go. And I'm just gracious. I'm eternally and perpetually gracious unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, for that not being true of me. And I hope it's never true of me. I hope I endure to the end and I get the reward. But even with 10 years, and you have some elders that done 20 and 30, damn near 40 years, at any moment, any of us can get pulled out of this. So it's imperative that we consistently stay humble through all of this, man. You know what I mean? You know, you're expendable at the end of the day. I remember years ago I did a video called "The Most I Don't Need You." He doesn't. You're expendable. Each and every one of us is expendable, man. There's so many millions of Israelites, hundreds of millions of Israelites that literally, we're the sand of the sea. So literally, he could still go get 144,000. Kill all of us right now, go get 144,000 out of another entire whole different group of Israelites. It'd be quite simple for him to do this. You know what I mean? So we have to understand we're expendable. So even though a brother may have been in 10 years like myself, or 20 and 30 years like elders that I have, you take it with a grain of salt, because we're all expendable and we all have to keep pressing towards the mark. And we all are working for the same penny. So I'm working, Lord willing, for the same reward that a brother who's just coming in is working for. And if we both end up getting a reward, then we're both going to get the same reward.
Okay.
You know, sometimes maybe brothers had to wake up earlier because they had more blood to wash or more sins they had to make up for. We don't know. All I know is this. Perpetually and eternally gracious and grateful to the Most High who have woke me up at any point, let alone 10 years ago when he did. So now I can officially say I've been in this truth 10 years. I've been knowing I was a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Levi for 10 years. You know, and call all Yahweh Bashem Yahushua for that. But of course, it's not just about knowing. Give me that about the hearers.
Here's the word doers.
Come. It was at James 3. Because it's not just about hearing, because even with hearing, you know, I took baby steps to start doing these things. You know, I started with my diet. I stopped shaving, you know, but I was still doing other things that were wicked, you know, in my infancy in this truth, you know, but eventually after about 2.5 years, I got on the streets. So I'm 7 years on the streets, but 10 years in the truth, right? Go ahead.
This is James chapter 1, verse 22. It says, but be ye doers of the word and not hearers only.
Exactly. So when you hear this thing, and I know that there's brothers and sisters out there that listen to these videos that are just hearers. I know a lot of y'all are hearing this. It sounds good to a lot of y'all, but y'all haven't started doing yet. Read it again.
This is James chapter 1, verse 22.
But
be ye doers of the word.
But you gotta be a doer. Read.
And not hearers only.
You gotta stop just listening. I understand. You've been listening. It's about time for you to start doing. Start doing. Start keeping these laws. Start doing the right things, man. Dietary. Start trying to rock your fringes. You know, at least get you a few fringe items, ZZs. Stop the shaving. You understand what I'm saying? Do the things that the laws require of us. Do not be a hearer only. Be a doer. Because hearers ain't going to get saved.
That's right.
It's going to be the doers that get saved.
That's right.
Right? Go ahead.
It says deceiving your own selves.
So some people be deceiving. You hearing the truth. You think you in the truth. You think you of the elect. I remember when I first came in, I thought I had it. I was all the way in. I, you know, had a spot. The world was going to be over in 6 months. That's self-deception. But there got to a point where it was messing with me because I said, damn, well, the world's going to end. I'm looking like the world is going to end. And then I'm like, well, wait a minute. I ain't hit the streets yet. So what's going to happen to me? That's what I'm thinking in my mind. So then I look back and I'm grateful it didn't end because now I've had the opportunity to, for these last 7 years, fervently through the spirit and power of Yahweh watching me out, I hit the streets. You know, Lord willing, we're going to hit the streets tonight. Then I'm going to go, Lord willing, to Long Beach tomorrow. We're going to hit the streets in Long Beach tomorrow. We're going to Detroit next week. We're going to hit the streets in Detroit through the spirit. We're trying to really burn this stuff up in the spirit and power of Yahweh watching me out. And I'm grateful that the Most High has enabled me to be a part of his ministry. Understand?
It says, for if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer,
read.
He is like unto a man beholding his natural face.
You see that? Go ahead.
In a natural glass, for he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. You see that? You forget what manner of man you are. You have to, you don't deceive yourself, man. You hear this word, we have to do this word. If the word tells you to stop being an adulterer, you have to stop doing drugs. You have to stop eating pork. You have to stop smoking cigarettes. You have to stop to, as a man, start going on them street corners and teaching. You have to go and do it. That's right.
Anything less is self-deception. You just hear it. Oh yeah, I'm an Israelite. Well, Israelite has a culture. It has customs that you would follow if you in truth were a Jew inwardly. It would manifest outwardly, right? Go ahead.
This is Sirach chapter 5 verse 7. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord.
Don't wait, man. A lot of people is waiting. Don't wait. There's nothing holding you back from keeping the laws of God, man. There's nothing holding you back from keeping those laws. Read.
And put not off from day to day.
That's what a lot of people do. Put it off from day to day to get right. And that's why the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. I remember when after I first came in this truth 10 years ago, by the grace of the Most High, and I remember this is probably after about 2 months in the truth, I've been shaving the whole time. And then I woke up one morning, I went in the bathroom, I looked in the mirror, I grabbed my razor because I was putting it off. Yeah, I'll start doing that eventually. And I went to put the razor to my face, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I said, I just can't do it. I know the Most High said this is wrong. I just can't do it. So here, let me put that down, and I'm not going to do that anymore. You know, and that's that fear that's got to keep you going. Is that right there? Knowing that the Most High said, "Thou shalt not," and then you do it. So just don't do it. I remember when I first came into truth. I was still at my pops. I was 17 when I first came into truth. I was still staying with my pops, and he went to Subway. Asked everybody what they wanted. Said BLT. So this nigga, man, he's so funny. This nigga will get me a BLT, and then comes and brings it to me and said, lets me unwrap it, go to bite it, and says, "I thought you want to stop being poor." I said, "Damn, you're right. I ain't need it." You see what I'm saying? So it was just little things like that where you start. Those are the simple, like this, the least of the commandments that Yahweh spoke about. Like you can start there. Start by stop shaving and getting lineups, and stop by changing your diet. At least start there, and then you graduate to certain levels. You know, but some guys just sit on their ass, make excuses, and just be hearers of the word, and that ain't right. That ain't right. That's not how we're supposed to be operating. Period. That's not how we're supposed to be operating. Precept.
Yeah, we'll just keep going. It says, "For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth."
See, you putting it off from day to day, but you're not understanding when that wrath is coming. You see what I'm saying? I think I told the story last week about an idolatrous shirt that I had that I just couldn't stop wearing. Because it was my favorite shirt when I first came in. Man, I want to say I just told the story, but I'll tell it again. When I first came in, I had I had this shirt with Semiramis on it, but it was my favorite shirt. And I went out. I was supposed to be keeping the Sabbath, wasn't doing that. But I had my heart, I thought I had my mind set on it. Wasn't doing that, left out. Went to a party with this damn idolatrous shirt on. And, you know, I end up, somebody had hit me with a damn bottle at this party, man, from across the party, started throwing bottles at me, man. And that's the wrath coming suddenly. So I understood it, and I recognized it for what it was, and I threw the shirt out. Because it's not like I could say, the 10 years of being in this truth, I can't say like a lot of things like that haven't happened to me. Why? Because, you know, you're supposed to be walking uprightly. Things will still happen to you when you walk, you know, as a trial. But for the most part, you know, you're going to have that hedge of protection around you through the spirit of power of Yahweh. But when you're doing things like walking around with an item on your damn shirt, you know, the hedge of protection is not going to be there. So I had Semiramis on my shirt, and the Most High just wasn't with me on it. You know what I mean? And he allowed a bottle to strike me. It wasn't too bad, you know, but it was a big enough wake up call for me to know. Okay, number one, I thought I was supposed to be keeping the Sabbath. That's another one, and I had an idol on my shirt. Come on, madness. What was I thinking about? So just things like that, the wrath will come suddenly on you, right? So you need to not make a tarrying to get right with the Lord. Go ahead.
It says, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed.
In that what?
In thy security.
When you think it's all good, putting it off, I'm good now. I'm gonna get with the Lord later. Like when I was young, I thought I was gonna give my life to the Lord before I understood what the truth was. When I was like older, like in my 30s, 40s. But you putting it off and you don't know, might not make it to be 30, 40. Right? And 20 for a young black or Hispanic man, 25 is a milestone, man. That's a literal milestone. Right? Go ahead.
It says, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance.
You see that? So instead of setting yourself up to get a vengeance put on you by the Most High, do right by the Most High. Lord, willing He have mercy upon you and deliver and save you at the return of His Son Yahushua. See? Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what scriptures also say. Seeing it was your mind to go astray from Him, seek Him 10 times more. That's Luke 4:25.
Yeah, seek Him 10 times more. You have to dedicate the amount of energy as you dedicated into your worldly pursuits prior to the truth and even more. Exceed that. A lot of people are missing that as well. Right, but go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make just an interesting little point. I was going back to my old Facebook from the world, and the brother was going into how this day marks his 10th year in the truth, and it's crazy because August 1st, 2015 is when I came into the truth. So so we're literally just 2 days apart, 7 years. Well, 2 years in terms of August 1st and August 3rd, but 7 years in terms of But I remember I posted my very first Israelite post. If you are still convinced Jesus Christ is white, you are confused and lost.
That's powerful. That's powerful because that's one of the things that reels us in. Is of course the national ethnicity of Yahushua. That's what reels us in, because that's the same thing that Esau has used to enslave us mentally so well as that so-called white Christ, Caesar Borgia. So waking up to that is such a beautiful thing. That's the first thing that we're going with, proving Christ is a black man, a powerful thing, right? But I gotta let's get that in Ezekiel 33 first. Matter of fact, you know what I want in there? Ezekiel 33, and then we'll get to the lesson for the Spirit. They sit before you as the people.
You talking about the watchman?
No. Ezekiel 30, 33 and like 31.
So they come unto thee as the people come. Okay. This is Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 31. And they come unto thee as the people cometh.
They come unto thee as the people cometh. Go ahead.
And they sit before thee as my people. And they hear thy words.
And I hear thy words, read on.
But they will not do them.
But they won't do them. That's some of y'all that's watching. Y'all hear the words, but you won't do them. Right? Or you're doing some of them, but you're not really dedicating yourself to doing all of them. Doing enough of them. You see what I'm saying? And I understand I was in that position at one time too, where I was hearing the words, I was doing some of them, but not all of them. You got to come out of that. Some of y'all are still doing drugs, smoking weed, right? Smoking cigarettes, smoking black and mild. Stop doing that, man. Go ahead.
Tom, it says, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them.
They will not do them. You need to not be this person and do the words of the Most High. Least wrath come upon me. Go ahead.
For with their mouth, they show much love.
All praises. This beautiful video, man. Y'all keep giving them hell. All right, that sounds good. That sounds great. When are you going to do your part, though? Because the only reason we doing these videos is we trying to do our part. We go out to the streets to do our part. What are you doing? You got to do your, we don't just do our part and you cheer us on. You got to do your part as well. You got to put your brick in. We all, as Hebrew Israelites, got to put our individual bricks in. Go ahead.
It says,
because we building a temple. Remember that. Go ahead.
It says, but with their heart, go after their covetousness.
They go after their covetousness. And you just go after whatever you are looking to gain in life. And therein lies a very serious problem, right? But
it also goes into Isaiah, I believe, it says these people honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me.
That's right. I mean, Hebrews 12:1. Because what we have to understand is in 10 years, which is still not a fully grown, if you understand. In 10 years, what I'll come to understand about this race is what it is. Because that's what we're doing, we're running the race. And that's what the scripture is going to elaborate on through the Spirit. Go ahead.
It says Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses. Let us lay.
And then that's what we are. We're compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses. That's the millions of views brothers is getting on the internet. That's so great a cloud of witnesses. That's an even greater cloud of witnesses than they were getting at that time. Go ahead.
Let us lay aside every weight.
Every weight. Let us lay aside every weight. What is every weight? The things that are weighing you down. Go ahead.
And the sin which doth so easily beset us.
That sin that's in you that wants to throw you off of your course, set it aside. Go ahead.
And let us run.
Let us do what?
Run.
Read.
With patience.
With what?
With patience.
With patience. Slow and steady wins the race. Go ahead.
The race that is set before us.
That's what it's like, a marathon. The race that says before us is this truth and getting to the kingdom, getting to salvation and getting through Yahushua. So we running that race, that marathon-like race. Not a sprint. It's a marathon, man. That's what it is. The race set before us is a marathon. So run it like it's a marathon, not like it's a sprint. I've seen guys run it out here like it's a sprint. Now I don't see them niggas no more. Who knows where they went, right? They in the world, back in the world somewhere, man. Listen, guys that you thought would never go nowhere is back being whoever the hell they were, or a worse nigga than they used to be. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to run that marathon through the Spirit of power, Yahushua, because that's what this is. You're not going to last long trying to drive all the gas in your tank out, man. I'm telling you that now. Right? Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 11. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift.
Is not what?
To the swift.
To the swift. Go ahead.
Nor the battle to the strong. Neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happening to them all.
See, so it's not to the swift. You think the race is to the swift. You think this is the fastest nigga, he's going to win. You ever seen Usain Bolt in a marathon? No, you haven't. He doesn't do that, right? You don't see a lot of Jakes in marathons. Sure, there's plenty of Jakes that won marathons, but who's characterized with running marathons? Damn Hamites, man. Right? The Canaanites. We got to follow their example in that instance, at least. We don't follow them into all these idols. Instead, we should have been following them in the patience they had to run a damn marathon, because that's what's before. Even the marathon continues, right? The marathon store, that's Nipsey Hussle's brand. He's a damn Hamite. The Hamites, they understand patience better than us. We got to learn patience, man, as the Hebrew Israelites. Give me 1 Corinthians 9-24.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24. Know ye not that they which run.
They which run. We are they which run. They which run, read.
In a
Salakia. They which run in a race. We're not they which run. Salakia. He's getting ready to get a metaphor. I jumped the gun. They which run in a race. He's talking about a worldly race. Read.
Know ye not that they which run in a race run all.
They run all. They all run. Go ahead. That's what being in a race is about. 24, read.
But one receiveth the prize.
But one receiveth the prize. Read on.
So run that ye may obtain.
Run that ye may obtain. Run like you're like it's you. Only you can get it. Well, guess what? 144,000 is going to get it. Plus 1/3 is going to get it. Don't get it twisted. But all the 144 and the 1/3 that's going to get it, especially the 144 that's going to get it, is he had ran like he had to win. Like he had to get there. And that don't mean that you ran the fastest. That means you ran with endurance, because you got to be able to endure. You ever seen the people? I look at these people running a marathon, man, I'd have quit, right? But this is also a marathon. I'll quit this marathon, but when I want. You see? Go ahead.
Verse 25.
Hold that. Matter of fact, give me Philippians 3. 3 and 12 to 14. Then we'll go back to that. Go ahead.
This is Philippians chapter 3, verse 12. Not as though I have already attained.
Not as though I'd already. So you got individuals out there that act like they have already attained. Like the kingdom is already theirs. Like they know they're going to be of the elect. The Bible says, read it again.
It says, this is Philippians 3 and 12. Not as though I have already attained.
Not that I've already attained. We should never conduct ourselves like we've already attained, like we've made it, like we have that crown, like we've finished this race, we've won it. Because we haven't, goddammit, we're here still, man. You still got to wake up and live in this world. Esau's out there. You got to pay your damn bills. You got to deal with the police. You got to deal with satanic demons all over the place. You have not attained a damn thing. You're lucky enough to obtain the minuscule amount of wisdom that we do have. Right? Go ahead.
Either we're already perfect.
That's what guys that they have already been perfected. That hasn't happened, brother. Go ahead.
But I follow after, if that I may apprehend.
I follow after, and we all should follow after that we may apprehend. We're trying to apprehend. What are we trying to apprehend? An incorruptible crown. That's what we're trying to apprehend, the crown that Yahushua is going to give to the elect. That's what we run like. You got guys who are acting as if they already attained. That's what Paul is talking about. In his time, they were there. Them same brothers is back on the scene now. Them same brothers may never attain that crown in this time. But brothers who run as if they have not, you got to just see, and that shows that drive. When you see brothers have that drive and determination, they're not being lackadaisical, and they're being really trying to press the line as far as this truth goes. Though that's the type of brother that's running as if he is not attained. He's running to apprehend still. Like, damn, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I'm trying to get it, I'm trying to make that spot. You understand what I'm saying? But dudes who just lackadaisical about it, want to do the bare minimum, they acting like they already got it, man. They don't need to go the extra mile. Why? They already got it, right? Go ahead.
That I may apprehend that for which also I am apprehending of Mashiach Yahushua.
That's right. Go ahead.
Verse 13, brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended.
We don't never count yourself as if you're the elect yet, man, because you're not. You don't know that. You can be a Buddhist tomorrow, man, or worse, tomorrow, today, but you over acting like you the elect. That's madness, man. Go ahead.
But this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind.
Forgetting what's behind. Not looking back, but trudging forward, because you can never win a race looking back. What racer ever won a race looking back? I'm looking back at who, number one, you're not even paying attention to who's behind you in this race.
Right.
You're running a straight. How does a horse win a race? They get tunnel vision. They're not even looking at who's running next to them.
That's right.
Who's running behind them. They're just running, trying to get to that finish line.
That's right.
And that's how we got to be, man. Go ahead.
It says, forgetting those things which are behind.
Forgetting what's behind, read.
And reaching forth.
Read.
Unto those things which are before.
The kingdom. We're trying to get to the kingdom. So we're running to the kingdom. We are running a marathon race to the kingdom of heaven, man, to our rulership and our dominion. That's what we're running to. Keep running. Never stop. Shalaki, what you got?
That's one of the shortest precepts in the Bible. Luke 17:32. Yep. Remember Lot's wife. That goes right into the tunnel vision. Don't look back.
Look back. Remember Lot's wife. Only Bible verse shorter than that is Jesus wept.
Yeah.
Right? Go back to, was that 14 in Philippians 3?
I read up to 14.
Okay, read 14.
Okay, verse 14, it says, I press toward the mark.
I do what?
Press toward the mark.
There's a mark. That's the finish line. Press towards it consistently. at an enduring pace. Not at a pace that's going to have you out of gas. Not at a pace that's going too slow, but steadily, a steady pace. Go ahead.
So it says, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God and Hamashiach Yahushua.
Salvation. Period. Right? Let's go back to Corinthians. Read 25. 9. 1 Corinthians 9 and 25.
1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 25. And
every man read
that striveth for the mastery.
That do what?
Striveth for the mastery.
That's what we're striving for. The mastery. That's the crown. That's the finish line. Right? That's the championship. Go ahead.
Is temperate.
Is what?
Temperate.
Temperate, read.
In all things.
In what things?
All things.
All things. Right? Give me, hold that. Or is that on 25?
No, this is one more.
Go ahead.
It says, now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown.
See, look, so he's giving you a analogy in regards to what an athlete would do in order to become the master or the top or the champion or what a Jordan, how the work ethic of a Jordan, or any other champions of any other respective sports. He's referencing their work ethic and showing you how they're doing it for that NBA trophy or that Stanley Cup or the Major League Baseball trophy or the Lombardi trophy in football. They have that work ethic for a crown that's corruptible, for something that is not going to get them salvation, for something that's going to perish along with the memorial of the United States of America.
That's right.
It's going to all perish. So imagine the type of work ethic you should have for an incorruptible crown. Go ahead.
It says, but we an incorruptible.
Well, that's right. We're running for an incorruptible. Now, give me that 2 Timothy. It's a lot. 2 Timothy 2 and 5.
And
for temperance is in reference to discipline. So the level of discipline that you have to be a champion on a worldly level, imagine the type of discipline that you have to be a champion on a spiritual level, in a kingdom level. Right? Go ahead.
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 5. And if a man
read
also strive for masteries,
right, which is what we're doing. Go ahead.
Yet is he not crowned. Except he strive lawfully.
Except he do what?
Strive lawfully.
So we have to strive according to the law. That's the temperance. That's where the discipline initially comes in at, is the law. Going back to the initial story I told, when you first come in this walk, you got to what? You got to stop shaving. You got to start curbing your diet. That's the striving lawfully. That's how you begin to discipline yourself. All right, go ahead.
Verse 5.
Yeah, all I needed was 5. All right, let's go back to 9. 1 Corinthians 9, read 26.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 26. It says, I therefore so run.
I therefore so run, read.
Not as uncertainly.
Not as uncertainly, read.
So fight I. Not as one that beateth the air.
That's right, go ahead. So basically he's not running for no reason. He's not fighting he's not shadow boxing. He's not running for exercise. He's running for a very specific purpose. He's fighting for a very specific purpose, and that is salvation. And we all need to be understanding. You're not in this truth just to be in this truth. It's not just a fad. It ain't just something to do. You are in this thing, keeping the laws and the faith for the purpose of salvation. Your salvation and the salvation potentially of your household, if you have one, at the return of Hamashiach Yahushua. That's what you're running for. Make sure to keep that in mind. I think certain people may lose sight of that, and that's what's bugging them out. They forget what they in this thing for. You're not in this thing to oppress nobody. You're not in this thing for views. You're not in this thing for your own self-glorification. You're in this thing because it's the right thing to do, and there's a reward that potentially can come with it from your God. And that's salvation when he sent his son Yahushua. That's what we're in it for, not for other purposes. This is our heritage. We lost our heritage through breaking these laws and not having faith. So we have to retake our heritage, have laws and faith to be saved and put back in our rightful place, which is the culmination of our heritage, having control of our land, having a king. which is Yahushua, right? That was 26. Hold that. Give me 1 Timothy 4 and 8.
This is 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8. For bodily exercise profiteth little.
It profiteth little. Bodily exercise profiteth little. Not saying don't exercise, but bodily exercise profiteth little. Read.
But godliness.
But godliness, go ahead.
Is profitable unto all things.
You see that? So the type of dedication that you see people in the world go to hit that gym, and even people in the truth, and there's nothing wrong with hitting the gym. But when you, again, this is a work ethic comparison, a work ethic analogy. When you take a look at the amount of dedication that goes into successfully getting yourself in shape and the exercise, that profiteth you little in the long run. But what profiteth you in all things is godliness, starting with the laws and faith. That is what you need to run with, man. Right? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh. Shall I finish that?
It says, having promise of the life that now is, and of that which is to come.
Salvation. That's it on that.
Come.
Go to 6 and 12 there in 1 Timothy.
This is 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 12. Fight the good fight.
Do what?
Fight the good fight.
See, like he said, going back to Corinthians, he talked about running, and he talked about fighting. So now say, fight the good fight. Read.
Fight the good fight of faith.
Of what?
Of faith.
Of faith. Read on.
Lay hold on eternal life.
You see that? Because through that faith is eternal life going to come, man. And that's what the goal is. The goal is not a gold medal. The goal is not a Ring Magazine, WBO, WC, BC, WBA title belt. The goal is eternal life. That means the goal is bigger than anything Floyd Mayweather ever had. Bigger than all his Bugattis, all his bitches, and all his championships. All right? And now, go watch all his 24/7s, or whatever the hell they call it. And look at his work ethic. You have to have even more of a work ethic towards this truth. Because the reward that you're looking to, which is eternal life, again, is greater than all them belts, all them Bugattis, and again, all of them bitches. Right? So go ahead.
It says, whereunto thou art also called, and hast professed a good profession before many witnesses.
What is professed a good profession? You have taught the Bible in the streets. That's professing a good profession. Not profession like your job. What you're professing, what you're saying, prophesying is the Bible. That's professing a good profession. Going to them streets and teaching through the spirit and power of Yahweh. That's another part that is largely contributing to your potentially getting eternal life and salvation, right? So like it. Let's go to back to Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 9 and 27.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 27. It says, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection.
Do what?
Bring it unto subjection.
Bringing your body into subjection is discipline. You're bringing your body under subjection when you're keeping the laws. Because we live in a world that's so contrary to the laws of God. Everywhere you go, it's add bacon on this, shrimp. I mean, just those are just minuscule. Everything in this world is against the laws of God. So you're literally bringing your body under subjection by keeping the laws of the Most High, because the way this world is so contrary to the laws of the Most High. Go ahead.
Lest that by any means, when I preach to others, I myself should be a castaway.
You see that? He bring his body into subjection because we can preach, because you have, get that in you know what I need. The Ariah scripture.
Okay.
Yeah. Because here it is. You can take myself. People say, man, brother, you know, I've learned a lot from you. You've taught many people, etc. People can say that, and I cannot have my body in subjection. And you know what that means? I could have taught every damn body. I could have taught 144,000 people, and I could still die and not make it, right? Which is, what good is that for me? You know, I'm glad I was able to help everybody else, but damn, I'm looking for myself salvation, my household salvation. Right. What good is that for me? So I need to be able to teach as many people as I can teach, and as well as keep myself in check. and make sure that I am not only am I trying to help somebody else get there, but I'm getting there too through the Spirit. Go ahead.
This is Sirach chapter 37, verse 19. There is one that is wise and teacheth many.
And do what?
Teacheth many.
One that's wise and teacheth many. Read.
And yet is unprofitable
Read.
To himself.
Yeah, it's unprofitable to himself. That's the worst thing you can be. Now you're unprofitable to yourself. You done taught all these people. That's why I told the brother the REI scripture. Can I go back to REI? REI has been so instrumental in furthering this truth. And now look at him. He's unprofitable to himself. But he's taught thousands of people. Right? You don't want to go out like that, man. I know I don't. So go back to that scripture.
1 Corinthians?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 27. It says, but I keep under my body and bring it unto subjection.
That's right. Bring your body under subjection. Read.
Lest that by any means, when I preach to others,
read,
I myself should be a castaway.
That's right. Lest by any, if you don't bring your body under subjection, you don't have yourself in check and bring it under discipline, under these laws, then guess what? You will also be a castaway. That's not what you want to be, man. Trust me. It's not who you want to be. Right? There was in on 27?
Okay.
I need Philippians 2 and 16.
Okay. Philippians chapter 2, verse 16. It says, holding forth the word of life.
Holding forth the word of life. Go ahead.
That I may rejoice in the day of Mashiach.
That I may rejoice in salvation when Yahushua returns. Read.
That I have not run in vain.
That I have what?
Not run in vain.
That's what you don't want to do, because we run it. How disappointing would that be? 10 years. I'm running 10 years, and I ran 10 whole years in vain. That's ridiculous. I need to keep running until I get to that finish line, man. As is everybody else, no matter how long it is. You got elders running 20, 30, coming up on 40 years. Keep running. Me 10 years, keep running. You 2 weeks, nigga, keep running. We all gonna get the same thing if we all are worthy. All that are worthy are gonna get the same penny with the salvation, regardless of how long you've been running the race. Ain't that so gracious of Yahweh? Beautiful. Go ahead.
Neither labored in vain.
Neither labored in vain. All these works, which is pales in comparison to the works of Yahweh, but all these works for nothing. Damn that. Not only do more than you've done.
Right.
There's so many things that we could be doing. Man. There's so many things that we could be doing. Damn it, let's do them.
That's right.
Let's do them all. Through the Spirit and power of Yahweh. That's Philippians 2 and 16. It's 2 Timothy 4 and 7. 4 and 7 to 8.
And that's what the scriptures say. You're supposed to count the cost.
That's right. A lot of guys aren't counting the cost, which means have enough gas in your tank. You're not understanding what all comes with this truth. This truth is life changing. When we say life, I mean life. I mean all aspects of life.
Yeah. Changing.
Altering. You got to be ready for that. This ain't just, again, some fad, bro. We're not running for nothing. We're not boxing with the air. Go ahead.
This is 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7. I have fought a good fight.
I have what?
Fought a good fight.
A good fight. We're fighting, not the air. We're fighting a good fight. We're fighting our flesh. We're fighting principalities. We're fighting strongholds, demons. Read.
I have finished my course.
I have what?
Finished my course.
You got to finish that course out. Go all the way, man. Go ahead.
I have kept the faith.
And keep the faith. Go ahead. 7 to 8.
8. Let me read 8. Verse 8. It says, henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness.
As long as you finish your course and keep the faith, a crown of righteousness is laid up for you, meaning Yahweh Shai is going to crown you upon the implementation of his kingdom. That goes into 2nd Ezra. Go ahead.
Which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day.
At that day. Go ahead.
And not to me only.
Not to Paul only. Go ahead.
But unto all them also that love his appearing.
The elect, man, who want Yahweh Shai to come to this earth and want his kingdom to come. You want if he's your king, Yahweh Shai is a king, you want your king to rule.
That's right.
You want him to have his kingdom, man. The men that was with David when David was having that controversy with Saul, they wanted David to sit on the throne.
That's right.
How much more the son of David that the Most High told David would reign forever? How much more? That's it on that.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to 1 Timothy now, 1:18.
This is 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 18. This charge I commit unto thee, son Timothy, according to the prophecies which went before on thee, that thou by them mightest war a good warfare.
That's what we got to do, because we're in a spiritual war, so we have to war a good warfare. That's why we war in a spiritual guerrilla warfare. We war in the SICARRI, we war in the literal guerrilla warfare. We war in that spiritual guerrilla warfare, but that same SICARRI spirit. That's why we've harnessed that energy through the spirit. You see what I'm saying? Let's go to 2 Corinthians 10:4.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
Are not carnal. That's what we have to understand. We're not dealing with the carnality of it. We're dealing with the spirituality of it. Carnality is easy, man. Our people are learning to work a carnal warfare and murdering each other every damn day. But we war in a spiritual warfare, man. Go ahead.
But mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds.
And that's what we're pulling down, strongholds. So where literally coalitions of various religious groups are formulating to attempt to hinder our growth as a nation and stop what we're doing. Even enemies that are within Israel are attempting to stop what we're doing. These camps, what you call these one-West camps, what they call the alphabet camps, niggas are working painstakingly and tirelessly to try to come against the work. Read it again.
This is 2 Corinthians 10:4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty.
But mighty, read.
Through God to the pulling down of strongholds.
All these strongholds, we're pulling them down, and it's vexing people so much. They hating it so much. Why? Because the stronghold that they relied on is being destroyed. Christianity, Islam, Pan-Africanism, more science, temple madness, chematology madness, and heresies amongst Israel. Getting pulled down, and it's vexing the hell out of them. But we want a good warfare because through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, our weaponry is mighty. Knowing this Bible, having the correct and proper understanding through the spirit. Go ahead.
John, verse 5. Casting down.
All I needed was 4. Just 4. You all right? Give me John 6:63.
This is John chapter 6, verse 63. It is the spirit that quickeneth.
Read.
The flesh profiteth nothing.
Go ahead.
The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life.
See, and it's through these words, through the Bible. That's how we're doing it. We're not picking up AK-47s and killing people to get our point across. We're not strapping bombs to ourselves and blowing ourselves up to get our point across. How we're getting our point across is through the spirit. By reading the Bible, and it's pissing the world off right now, man. Every damn body off, and that's fine. That's what it's supposed to. Same thing Yahushua did, pissed everybody off.
That's right.
So let's go to Isaiah 59:17.
This is Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 17. For he put on righteousness as a breastplate, and an helmet of salvation upon his head, and he put on the garments of vengeance for clothing, and was clad with zeal as a cloak.
You see that righteousness and that zeal, it's what's clothing us now. So that's how we're going into war. It's talking about warlike apparel, but it's likening the various aspects of warlike apparel, armor, helmet, and things like that to things like righteousness and zeal. So that's what we're having, and we're going with that into war and being zealot and being zealous for that into our spiritual war, and that's how we're winning through the spirit of power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So we're doing exactly what the Bible says to do, right? Ephesians 6:12 to 18.
And that's what the Bible also speaks about in the 4th chapter, 28 verse, I think it is, the double garments of righteousness.
Exactly, the double garment. That's what we're putting on. And in doing so, the Most High is fighting for us. And that's what these people can't see, right? But go ahead.
It's Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
We wrestle not against flesh and blood. Read.
But against principalities, against powers.
That's right.
Against the rulers of the darkness of this world.
That's what we're fighting against. And that's why they're getting so upset. But they're trying to do all these things to hinder us. Yet Israel just keeps growing. All the camps that y'all hate, the alphabet camps, and One West camps, they're all growing like wildfire. Why? Oh, because of God. Go ahead.
Come against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Going against spiritual wickedness in high places, man. Right? Go ahead.
That's on 12.
Go to 18, Salaki.
8 all the way 18. God says, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God.
Take unto you the whole armor of the Most High. Go ahead.
That ye may be able to withstand in the evil day.
That's right. And that's what we got to put on, that whole armor. So we're able to withstand when Satan comes against us. You see that? When Satan comes against you, either spiritually, physically, or any way, you're able to withstand because you have girded yourselves with the armor of the Most High through keeping his laws and righteousness and having faith in Hamashiach. Read.
And having done all to stand.
And having done what?
All to stand.
All to stand. What is all you need to do to stand? Have work and faith coupled together. Laws, faith. That's how you do all to stand. To please the Most High, to have him to fight for you. Go ahead.
Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth.
With truth. There's that going back to being clothed in righteousness, truth, zeal. Read.
And having on the breastplate of righteousness.
Go ahead.
And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith.
Having them feet shod with the gospel of peace, dealing with going on these streets and preaching that gospel, man. Read.
Wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
Meaning there's nothing that the wicked can do against you when you're in righteousness and truth. Read.
And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit.
Go ahead.
Which is the word of God.
That's right. Which is this. This is our sword. And we cutting the hell out of these people. And we making them mad. We making them pissed. We making these people foam at the mouth because of us proclaiming this truth all over the world through the Spirit of power. Go ahead.
Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit.
That's right. Go ahead.
And watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints.
You see that? Praying and watching. That's what we got to do. That was 18. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 8.
This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 8. But let us, who are of the day,
of the day, mean we're of the light, we're the spiritually enlightened. Read.
Be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith.
Again, there it goes. This is warfare talk. Breastplate, swords. But it said a breastplate of faith. Not a Kevlar vest. A breastplate of faith. That faith is a protector, man. Go ahead.
Of faith and love.
And love unto one another. Go ahead.
And for an helmet, the hope of salvation.
Hope that will be saved. That is armor, faith and hope, man. These same things that people will criticize you for, call you crazy for, is actually an armor. And if you're having it, you're seeing how it's an armor, how it's protecting and defending you through the Spirit of power. And if you haven't seen it, damn it, you need a little bit more of it. And I think even those of us that have seen it, we still need more of it. Because Yahushua criticized, what did he say? He said, these are faithless generation. And that's what everybody wants in this generation. Even today, even worse. They want a sign. Only signs we get is these curses, man. We can take a look at these curses and say, yeah, this is us. But if that ain't enough for you, man, I don't know what the hell to tell you. Let's get what was we at? We were 1 Thessalonians 5 and 8. Mark 4 and 17.
This is Mark chapter 4, verse 17. It says, and have no root in themselves, and so endure but for a time.
You see that? That's how some people are. That's why you got to be ready for that marathon. Because some brothers and sisters, they have no root. I seen a sister on Facebook. Man, she was going hard. And we had a conversation, and I was like, damn, like, how long you been in the truth? Like a month. I'm like, damn, you're going hard in a month. That's crazy. A month later, she's out the truth. Just a month. She's gone. In the truth, 2 months, 3 months, maybe tops. See what I'm saying? Some people ain't ready for this all the way. Go ahead.
Come. It says, afterward, when affliction or persecution arises, for the word's sake.
For the word's sake. When people start looking at you crazy for that Hebrew Israelite mumbo jumbo, read.
Come. Immediately they are offended.
Now they offended.
Yeah.
They don't want to get looked at crazy by nobody. So now they at a crossroads and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna just leave that shit alone. That's so they're looking at the truth.
Right. They're
not fit for this, they're gonna be destroyed.
That's right.
You get a point.
Yeah, that's why Christ said, blessed he was not offended in me.
That's right.
And roughly paraphrasing, basically those who are offended before men, offending you before the Father.
I ain't gonna confess you before the Father, meaning you're done.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Where we at? So like, yeah. Finish that?
That's it.
Matthew 24 and 13.
This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 13. It says, verse 13, it says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
That's running that race with endurance. Because you have to go to the end. If you quit during this marathon, bro, you're done. You don't get the prize, buddy. It's over. Right? So the same shall be saved, which is the prize, salvation by Yahushua. That's it on that. Okay. 1 Peter 2 and 19. You had a precept? All right. So like.
This is 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 19. It says, for this is thankworthy.
This is thankworthy. What is thankworthy? Read.
If a man
read.
For conscience toward God, endure grief.
You see that? You got to endure. There's a lot of grief in this world and in this life. But for conscience towards the Most High, and what we know is upon the horizon for those of us who endure to the end, endure grief. Because brothers be wanting to snap, man. Right? You living in this world, man, you damn near want to snap sometimes because it's so crazy and there's so many pressures in this world. Like this world don't even make sense when you analyze it. So our niggas be losing it sometimes, man. That's why we put that video on SICARRI Water a couple weeks back. What show the person making a wise man mad and showing how that brother was, man, he's losing it, man. He used to say he's ready to kill these crackers, man. Because that's the mindset that this place will put you in. But we have to endure grief for conscience towards the Most High. And we know what's coming. So we just got to be patient and wait for it. Because Yahushua is going to conquer this planet Earth. Period. And if we're lucky enough, we will be a part of that. That was 2 Peter. Or what is it, 1 Peter?
1 Peter 2 and
19. That was it on that? Go ahead.
It says, for this is thankworthy if a man for conscience toward God endure grief, suffering wrongfully.
You see that? Let's go to James 5 and 11. You know where your precept is at?
It's
all right.
You said James what?
5 and 11.
James chapter 5, verse 11. It says, behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the
count them happy. Why? Because the ones that endure are the ones that are going to win and be there with Yahushua getting crowns. Go ahead.
Ye have heard of the patience of Job and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy. Verse 12?
No, that's it. Let's go to Sirach 2 and 2. Go ahead, whatever you got.
This is just going into enduring and suffering patiently because we know what the reward of our patience is. This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 25. Baruch chapter 4, verse 25. It says, my children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from God, for thine enemy hath persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction.
You're going to see the white man fall. He's persecuted us. He's raped, robbed, murdered us, enslaved us. But we're going to see his destruction. We're going to see it through Yahushua. We're going to see it through the Russians and their allies. All the prophecies we're going to see come to pass if we simply endure, man. Go ahead.
And shall tread upon his neck.
And guess what? When Yahushua come, we the elect, we're going to be treading on his neck with him. That's going to be powerful, man. It's going to be very powerful. Go ahead.
This is SICARRI chapter 2, verse 10. Look at the generations of old.
Is that what I call for?
Yes.
I call for 2 and 2.
2 and 2? This is SICARRI 2 and 2. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure.
Set thy heart aright and constantly endure. See, that's what you got to do. You ain't going to be able to endure if your heart is not set aright, meaning your mind. You have to be thinking. You have to be in the right mind. The right mind is to get salvation. So in order to get salvation, what you got to do, endure, get your mind right, man. Get your damn mind right. Go ahead.
And make not haste in time of trouble.
Make not haste. Slow and steady wins the race, man. 2 Maccabees 6 and 30.
This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 30. When he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto the Lord that hath the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in body by being beaten.
That's right. He endured sore pains in body by being beaten. He endured that. Go ahead.
But in soul am well content to suffer these things because I fear him.
See that? His mind was right. Get my ass whooped or break the laws of God. Who do I fear more? I'll let these crackers beat my ass. Go to the top of that.
Should say, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. This is 2 Maccabees 6 and 1. Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews.
See, and this is how powerful this example was. Read.
To depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of God.
So let me see. Verse 18.
This is 2 Maccabees 6 and 18. Eleazar.
That's what his story is about. That's the brother who made that statement. Eleazar, that's where I got my name from. Now that we're going into 10 years, this is how I even got my name, from just reading the story. Being so taken aback by this brother's faith in the Most High and fear of the Most High to say, well, I'd rather die than eat pork. That was such a powerful example. You understand what I'm saying? So these are the brothers who we have to look at as examples who endured. All right. So you could drop that. Let's go back. Give me 2 Timothy 2 and 1. Had to be. Go ahead.
2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 1. Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Mashiach Yahushua.
That's what we have to do. Be strong in the grace. Understanding that we have grace. We're not abusing grace. We cannot continue in sin that grace may abound, but we're strong in the fact that Yahushua is bringing that grace to the nation as being sent by the Father. That was 1.
That was 2 Timothy
2 and 1. Yeah, right. Let's go all the way down to 13.
This is 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 13.
No, all the way down to 13. Through. So
it says, verse 2. And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men.
Exactly. So when he says you see men that are doing this, you put that, make a mental note of it, so to speak. You see the men that's really doing it. You're hearing about the men that's really doing it. And you keep that in your mind as a motivation for yourself to do it as well. Because if you take a look at me, 10 years, if you just coming in the truth, 10 years ago I was right where you is now. You know what I mean? And then if you look now, like all these brothers doing A, B, and C, well, guess what? I was looking at the brothers that was doing it before me the same way. So I took what they're doing and I just kept that in mind, and I wanted to do it and apply more in the spirit. They were like a motivation to me. So you use myself and brothers at any stage and level in this walk and be the same way, man. It's that simple. We all each one teach one. Go ahead.
It says, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. Thou therefore endure hardness As a good soldier.
That's what we got to do. That's one of our duties, to endure hardness as a good soldier. That grief, again, endurance, we got to deal with it. If you run in a marathon and you start getting a cramp somewhere, you got to endure that as a good soldier if you expect to win the damn race. Go ahead.
As a good soldier of Yahushua, no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this
Meaning
life.
you don't let the world and what's going on in the world distract you and entangle you and get you all wrapped up in it to the point where you're being distracted from the truth, from the race that you're running, from the war that you're fighting. Go ahead.
That he may please him who hath chosen him.
Because being entangled with that, you're displeasing God, man. You're displeasing the Most High. It says that he shall displease him. That what?
That he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier.
Yahweh have chosen you to be a soldier for Yahushua. In order to please him, you cannot be entangled in this world. Go ahead.
And if a man also strive for masteries, yet he is not crowned, except he strive lawfully.
Go ahead.
The husbandman,
which we read earlier. Go ahead.
The husbandman that laboreth must be first partaker of the fruits. Consider what I say, and the Lord give thee understanding in all things. Remember that Yahushua of the seed of David was raised from the dead according to my gospel. Wherein I suffer trouble as an evildoer, even unto bonds.
That's us. We suffer trouble as an evildoer, even under bonds. I'd have been locked up over this truth. Read.
But the word of God is not bound. Therefore I endure all things.
Therefore I endure all things. Last year, it was last July. Nigga had to endure going through the entire being cuffed. I had special cuffs on me. Right? We got to endure these evocatives making a viral video about us, trying to demonize us. We have to endure these things. People saying things, throwing things at us. We have to endure these things, man. Read.
Therefore, I endure all things for the elect's sake.
For the elect's sake. Read on.
That they may also obtain the salvation.
To be an example. Go ahead.
Which is in Yahushua Mashiach.
Read.
With eternal glory.
So now, where you at?
11.
Salakia, go ahead.
It is a faithful saying. For if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him.
We shall also live with him. Meaning we die daily, so we shall live with Yahushua in his kingdom. He died. We die daily by not being caught up in this world, so we can live our lives in the kingdom. Go ahead.
If we suffer, we shall also reign with him.
If we suffer with him. And that's what we're going through now, that suffering by being in this truth, the ridicule, getting locked up, all those various things. We shall also live with him. This is us living and reigning in the kingdom, that millennial reign, that initial 1,000 years. Go ahead.
If we deny him, he also will deny us.
But see, that's why people are going to be denied, because they deny Yahushua. Go ahead.
So if we believe not, yet he abideth faithful, he cannot deny himself.
Go ahead.
That's 8:13.
All right, so now let's go to 4 and 5 there. All praise.
2 Timothy 4 and 5. But watch thou in all things.
Watch in all things. Go ahead.
Endure afflictions.
Endure afflictions. Read on.
Do the work of an evangelist.
Do what?
Do the work of an evangelist.
Go to the streets and preach. Read.
Make full proof of thy ministry.
There you go. That's what you got to do. You got to do this work, man. Hebrews 12 and 7. We got to do this work. And Paul speaks about it in 1 Timothy as well, how he's an example, how he was even brought into the truth as an example of how the Most High has the power to bring any wicked sinner out of evil and into the truth. And everything that he did was an example, and he was trying to make that known. So look at the teachers that you see before you as examples, whether it be myself or any brothers that you see that you look to. You look at them as an example, and you follow in that example. Go ahead.
This is Hebrews 12 and 7.
If it's a righteous example, go ahead.
Let me start verse 7. If ye endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons.
You see that? If you endure the chastening, you are dealt with as a son, right? Under Yahushua. Go ahead.
For what son is he whom the father chasteneth not?
Exactly. You're going to have to deal with chastisements. And guess what? It proves that you're a son of the Most High. So you're going to have to endure it. If you're not chastened, you're a bastard, man. Remember that. Right? That's on that? All right. With that, go ahead, bring your precept. Right? That's on that?
Sirach.
Go ahead, yeah.
Sirach 2:1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
There you go. It's going to happen. It is going to happen. But yeah, we're going to open the floor up for questions. Any questions, y'all go ahead, shoot your questions now. Floor is open through the Spirit. Long Beach tomorrow. So anybody in the LA area, hit me up. Long Beach tomorrow. Detroit, Summit 11 next week. Shalom, Manatazak. The mark of the beast is the RFID chip. Why early? It's the best time. I ain't got the kids running around here. You feel me? The Legend 23, no, it's not. We don't follow a fixed Friday to Saturday Sabbath. We follow the Sabbath pursuant to what the Most High gave us, which is the sun, moon, and stars. You see the video with Tamar? Same stuff. Yeah. Man, Ion's all hard as bucket with that. I ain't going with that Steven Anderson being a Jake. Steven Anderson hates black people, man. Steven Anderson hates Hispanic people. Steven Anderson is the devil that the Bible speaks of. James, you have to understand something, prisoner of hope. James is the word for Jacob. It means Jacob. So literally, he's King Jacob. Yeah, people have them marking them right now. Can I steal from my enemy that East Indian Cobra? I know we're not supposed to steal. Okay, to steal from my enemy. We spoiled the Egyptians, Lisa. How can I prove the KJV Bible is the best to read from? How can you prove it? By showing that it doesn't have as many things taken out and changed. But we're not KJV onlyists. You all good, Patrick. Camp tonight, yeah. Elm and Malcolm X tonight, Lord willing. Deep Elm camp out here in Dallas, and then I'll be, Lord willing, in Long Beach tomorrow on Long Beach Boulevard at PCH. I mean, we don't know about the Vatican Archives. We ain't been in there. Yahweh Shai is the name of Christ, not the Most High. Yahweh is a corruption of the word Yahweh, which is the name for the Most High. Yahweh Shai is not the Most High, though. That's different. That's Christ. When you be in Virginia, I'm not sure. The water, Patrick Carter. How do you feel about this Kefir Bible? I mean, you have someone that?
No.
It's, if you want to, I mean, you know, it's not bad to have various Bibles. You have a breakdown on your Sabbath. Yeah, just look up SICARRI Lunar Sabbath. Share this video with friends. Yeah, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. What are some precepts on being vexed? What do you mean? Luke 3's lineage being lineage Yahweh Shai through Mary. Luke 3 is not Yahweh Shai's lineage through Mary. Mary doesn't have a lineage. She's a woman. 1 Peter 1:33. Someone can get 1 Peter 1:23. Luke 3 has nothing to do with Mary, contrary to popular belief. I understand. I studied Quran. That's how I know it's the RFID chip, brother. Go ahead.
1 Peter 1:23. Being born again, not of corruptible seed, but of incorruptible, by the word of God, which liveth and abideth forever. Yeah, I didn't know that Sefer had the Enoch. Yeah, no, you know what? I've looked up the Sefer. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with it. The Lord, when we come to New Orleans, we were trying to come for the Essence Fest, but it just was too pressed because I was going to New York. Read that again, though. 1 Peter 1:23. Being born again, not of corruptible seed, but of incorruptible.
But not of corruptible seed, but incorruptible. Read. Being born again. Okay, go ahead. Finish that.
By the word of God.
Nah, that ain't got nothing to do with the kingdom. That's now when you're baptized or when you learn the truth and you're reborn spiritually, you become a new spiritual creature. It's not the same thing as being in the kingdom. We go through that now. Where the Negro only doctrine comes from, it comes from the Willie Lynch letter.
That's right.
Pittsville. Thoughts on why King James, the scholar, made the decision to exclude the book of Enoch from the Holy Bible? Because the book of Enoch is not a part of the Holy Bible. That's why. Yo, I got a question. Okay, Afro, shoot your question. My brothers and sisters, please find out. Okay, battling flesh. What do you mean, like being, like you're vexed through battling your flesh? I'm not. I just need to understand, King. Oh yeah, James. Y'all across the bridge. So man, pull up. I know, man. Gio bringing his ass. I know Asher coming out blessing you, but I just want to say thank you for all your teachings I've recently in the last coming week. And y'all telling the truth. All praise Yahweh, Shem Yahushua, Andrew, the water, Mr. V Cherry, 72. Y'all gonna ever go back to doing videos on phone call and Christian truth and question? Yeah, maybe this brother decide to do that. Just get Matthew 22 and 30. I mean, we won't have no, it doesn't. That's the resurrection. That's talking about the spiritual world. You ain't got to get it. That's talking about the spiritual world. That's not talking about the kingdom. Kingdom is said we're gonna have so many kids, the earth ain't gonna be big enough for it. So that cuts that. My brother said, okay, do you have any camps near Tulsa, Oklahoma? The closest we got is here in Dallas. But if you want, just email us. Email us in the description, or go to our website and hit us up to our contact form, and you know, we can work with you. What do I do for the Sabbath? Nothing. Sit in the crib, don't buy, don't sell, don't have sex, etc. That's right, Water Deaf. Swoovius, I just need you to elaborate a little bit more on your question, brother, so we could try to get you an answer. Oh, your spirit and flesh will get Romans 7. Mm-hmm.
This is Romans 7.
Well, Solomon didn't have promiscuous ways. What he was weak for heathen women, which is a problem that many black men unfortunately had. Go ahead.
This is Romans 7:22. I'm sorry, verse 21. I find then a law that when I would do good, evil was present with me. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man, but I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind.
Go ahead.
And bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members.
Right. So Paul had this similar issue that you're having. Read.
O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? That's pretty much on that. But what was this question?
He needs a scripture on it. He needs help with it, not just told about it. Hold on. There's more. This whole chapter elaborates on that. What verses do you read?
I read 21 on down. Is he basically asking how to overcome this?
Yes, he needs to know.
8 goes into it.
Yeah.
8.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go deep into this. Yeah, read 8. We're gonna probably have to go to
Start from like getting born again. Walking on the spirit.
Probably about 14.
Read from just read
8 at the top. Read the 14.
This is Romans 8:1. There's therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Hamashiach Yahushua, who walk not after the flesh.
That's right.
But after the spirit.
So you have to be in Yahushua, number one, and you have to begin to fight that flesh and walk after the spirit. The flesh is going to be there. It's going to war against you. You have to overcome the flesh. And if you don't overcome the flesh, brother, you will be overcame by the flesh and you will be destroyed. Read.
For the law of spirit of life and Yahushua
read on,
hath made me free from the law of sin and death.
That's right. So it should be freeing you. It should be liberating you from that flesh. So you're not fighting hard enough. Go ahead.
For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, God sending his own son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, condemned sin in the flesh. That's
right. So in Yahushua, and if you truly have enough faith in Yahushua, you would be able to fight it in that way, and knowing what he did and understanding and bearing witness to what he did. That in and of itself should be motivation for you to defeat that flesh.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And that's why it says in Hebrews, it behooves him to be made like his brethren. Basically, so that the Most High, Christ came in sinful flesh and conquered the flesh, so that he could be an example that you could follow.
Exactly.
And you could walk in his footsteps and not have an excuse to serve sin, because Christ conquered it, so long as you can do it.
That's right. Go ahead.
It says, verse 4, that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit.
You're going to have to be after the Spirit. You minding the things of the flesh is in part what is causing you to follow the flesh. Be after the Spirit. Go ahead.
For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace.
That's right. Go ahead.
Because the carnal mind is enmity against God.
That's right. So what you're doing is you're falling into being in enmity with the Most High. And being in enmity with the Most High is going to result in your death. You have to have enough fear in the Most High to flee from it. Go ahead.
Because the carnal mind is enmity against God. It is not subject to the law of God.
Exactly. You got to be subject to the law of God. And being subject to the law of God is going to assist you. It's going to help you. Bring yourself under discipline. Temperance. Go ahead.
Neither indeed can be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please God.
That's right.
But ye are not.
You can't please the Most High if you're being in the flesh. That's why you got to get out of that flesh at all costs. Because in being in it, you're not pleasing the Most High. Go ahead.
But ye are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit.
But in the Spirit. Go ahead.
If so be that the Spirit of God dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the Spirit of Christ, he is none of this. He is none of his.
That's right. You got to have that Spirit. Go ahead.
And if Christ be in you, the body is dead.
That's right.
Because of sin.
That's right.
But the Spirit is life because of righteousness.
You see that? So you got to put on Yahushua, bro. You got to think about what he did. Use that as an example, man, and live by it. Go ahead.
To
14.
14. It says, and really what verse 10 is because the body's sins for destroyed. But it's being born again.
That's right.
It says, but the Spirit of him that raised up Yahushua from the dead dwell in you. He that raised up Christ from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies.
Shall also make alive your mortal body. Read.
By his Spirit that dwelleth in you.
Go ahead.
Therefore, brethren, we are debtors, not to the flesh, to live after the flesh. For if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye through the Spirit, it do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God.
You see that? So you need to be led by the Spirit. And if the Spirit is not leading you, you got to make it lead you, or else it's just not for you. And that would be a horrible thing. So you need to fight a better fight. You need to war better warfare, my brother, against that flesh. Afro, how do you know if you're an Israelite? Because it's brothers that's descendants of slaves that can trace their lineage to Ghana or Nigeria. Because that's where the Israelites went to Ghana and Nigeria and West Africa. Also, how can you know without tracing your lineage back? I mean, if you're a slave in America, you're a descendant of the slaves in America, then you would know. Let me make sure. Tawada Tazapine. Yawashim Yasha Brakata. No, Luke 3 lineage is the Levirate lineage of Joseph. Joseph is the product of a Levirate marriage. So he has a legal lineage and an actual lineage. All right. Meaning, give me the law of Levirate marriage. What is that? Deuteronomy 25. Okay, Afro. let's get that, and then we're gonna get the wheat and the tares. Go ahead.
This is Deuteronomy 25:5. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die, and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her.
Her husband's brother shall go in unto her. Read.
And take her to him to wife.
And take her to him to wife. So that's what Joseph was the product of. So that's why it's two lineages. There's an actual lineage, which is Matthew 1, and then there's that lineage, which is Luke 3. All right. Get the wheat and the tares for Afro, because he said, how do you know that your 4 times great grandfather isn't a Caucasian? Most Israelites don't trace that lineage. Most black people in America don't have the ability to trace that lineage, therefore. So it's not most Israelites don't trace their lineage. Lineage is something of paramount importance to Israelites, and every Hebrew Israelite, upon hearing the truth, most certainly makes a diligent inquisition and gets as much information they can pursuant to their lineage. But there's a brick wall that typically happens in a lot of black people in America due to slavery and the diaspora. So how do we rectify that? Through this parable given to us by Yahushua. Go ahead.
You read the entire parable, or just get to basically let the wheat and tares go together.
Wheat and tares go together.
No, this is,
matter of fact, read the whole parable.
This is Matthew 13:24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man.
A man, read.
Which sowed good seed in his field.
So good seed, Israelites, read.
But while men slept,
while the leadership slept during the time of slavery, read.
His enemy came.
His enemy came, the white man, read.
And sowed tares.
And sowed tares, read.
Among the wheat.
Among the wheat, go ahead.
And went his way.
And went his way, go ahead.
But when the blade was sprung up, and brought forth fruit,
read.
Then appeared the tares also.
There's tares and wheat. You can't tell the difference. They look the same. Read.
So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field?
Did you sow good seed? Read.
From whence then had the tares?
How do we have descendants of white people amongst the population of Israelites? People who trace their lineage to white folks. Go ahead.
He said unto them, an enemy had done this.
An enemy. Who's our enemy? The white man. He have done this. Go ahead.
The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up?
Let us go in here and let's gather these tares up. Let's get rid of these the descendants of the white man that's amongst these populations. Read.
But he said, nay.
He said, no. Read.
Lest while you gather up the tares.
That's why you're getting them. Read.
You root up also the wheat with them.
You see that? Because you might have a brother, you might think, this brother light skin, he's probably a white man.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that brother lineage blacker than this dude who dark skinned, who got a white man lineage. Because our people be too color struck. So we said, no, least you gather some of the wheat up with the tares. Read.
Let both grow together.
Let them grow together. Read.
Until the harvest.
Until the harvest. So we're not going to know all of that until the harvest, meaning until the end time. Read.
And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers,
the angels who are going to gather, read.
Gather ye together first the tares.
Yeah, gather the tares first. The ones who come from white people, who are descendants of the white man, who are his children, who are Edomites with a tan or chocolate-covered Edomites. Read.
And bind them in bundles.
Bind them in bundles. Read.
To burn them.
To burn them. Get rid of them. So we're not going to know until the end time, brother. It's not going to be before that. So if somebody happens to have one, there'll be a time where he will be rooted out if he's not one of us. That goes for anybody. Go ahead.
But gather the wheat into my barn.
But gather the wheat into my barn, the Israelites. Right? Well, that's going to happen to the Swoovians. You said, I'm only 2 years in the truth. The more I follow Yahushua, the more demons attack. That's going to happen. That's why you have to war that good warfare. It has to happen. See, the father is lineage. And what do you mean we don't trace our lineage? What are you talking about? The seed of your father is the only thing that makes absolute sense. No, that's a different Joseph, Terry Jacobs. anything you could tell me about the tribe of Benjamin, because I know they were a small tribe, but were there any big moments in the history that focus on them? I mean, you have guys like Ehud, Mordecai, and Esther, Paul. Israelite servant, that's incorrect. There were 4 sects: Pharisees, Sadducees, Essenes, and Zealots. Yahushua did not particularly identify with any one sect of Israel. He truthfully embodied all 4 sects of Israel.
I said something. This dictionary.com lineage, it says the line of descendants of, oh, I thought I said patriarchal Slav. It says particular.
Sure. Shalom, Clarence Ray. Mr. V. Cherry, no, it's not unrighteous. All praises King Rasta. Thawada James Johnson. I'm a little behind on everything, so I'm trying to make sure I don't miss nothing. Yeah, you can burn incense or clean your house, but not on the Sabbath. Yeah, that's crazy. You're trying to do that. No problem, Afro. I'm glad that we could be of assistance out. No, Mr. V. Cherry didn't say that about white people. It said that about Israelites. We got information out there about the Olmecs. I'm not going to do no in-depth lesson on the Olmecs simply because the Olmecs are not Israelites. Yes, who? Yes, Ayan Kazaz out there holding it down. So maybe y'all not too far from each other because he's out there in North Carolina as well. I mean, it's a generalization. So in general, the children and descendants of the transatlantic slave trade are Israelites. Can individuals slip through the cracks and there be exceptions? Of course. In anything, especially in people groups, there's not absolutes. So, in general, the majority of us certainly are Hebrew Israelites. Can some of us not be Hebrew Israelites and be mistaken? Yes, but some of us won't find out until it's the end. It really doesn't matter or have as much a bearing on everything as you're portraying it, because the majority still would be Israelites. Well, we're prisoners of hope. What you gonna know? Vexing each other. I mean, it's a part of the Bible. More marriage teachings, how to deal with everyday marriage. Brother, there's not a Bible verse on how to deal with everyday marriage issue. The Bible says if you marry, you will have trouble in the flesh. Those are individual, in particular situations that you're gonna have to work through, and just pray the Most High guide you in the spirit. How are we getting through the wilderness? Chariot rides. Um, you would have to prove the 12 tribe chart was wrong. You'd also have to prove that it was sinful. When have we ever damned anyone to hell? And again, it doesn't work in reverse. The children of the slave trade are in general Israelites. The people who were sacked in the Americas are in general the Israelites, not anyone else. So to say that, well, you don't know if they're Israelite, you can't, this doesn't go for everybody. The whole world in general are Israelite, all these people. The peoples in general are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Everyone else is not in general a Hebrew Israelite. So that's problematic. They said the Dead Sea Scrolls were Essenes, the sect of Qumran, but that isn't the sect of Yahushua. Is it still considerably a holy convocation to practice the Sabbath with just my two daughters and so fine? Yeah, that's fine. Get Ecclesiastes 9:4.
Ecclesiastes 9:4. For to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion.
There's more hope for somebody. There's hope for somebody who's alive. If you're dead, there's no hope for you. That's all I mean. Us being scattered through the four corners of the earth does not make Asians, Arabs, and Caucasians Israelites. There's something called Afro-Iranians, Afro-Iraqi, Afro-Syrians, the cities in India. Us being scattered does not mean that these people are us. There's a remnant of us that are amongst these people. It doesn't make any sense. Yes, Cherry, definitely. I'm not sure, Tommy boy. We got Day of Atonement coming up soon, so. That's true. That's true, but that's not a generalization. Again, there are anomalies. That's an anomaly. Okay, so there's always going to be anomalies and exceptions. But in general, 99% of the time, it's just not a fact. So it's problematic to disqualify generalizations through anomalies. Yabashim Yahshua Barakatah to Yadash Shabbat. All praise to Jason Lou. Man, to hell with Spokane. Nah, I'm playing, man. I don't mess with Eastern Washington, man. And I ain't been back to Seattle in 7 years. So Deuteronomy 23:8. Yeah, the occupants in Seattle. 4th and Pine, Saturdays, pull up. Yeah, but in the case of them, let's say I call Logic, I seen Logic on the street, I didn't know who he was. I said, you're a white man. He could say, well, my father's black. And it'd be like, all right. But just saying any random white person who don't got a black, not somebody who took on recessive traits. I'm talking about somebody who's just a white person as far as they know. That's just problematic. Right. Go ahead.
It's Deuteronomy 23:8. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of Yahweh in their third generation.
Meaning after 3 generations of them learning, they'll and being around, they can come and offer sacrifices at our temple. That's all that means. Exactly, yeah. Exactly. Once a month, Luis Garcia. Exactly. So there's anomalies. So we don't let anomalies get in the way. But when the anomalies happen, and if somebody can present an anomaly, then hey, you know, they got it. Sabbath is a day of rest. The word Sabbath means seven in the Hebrew. Shalom, the gray man. My main man, the gray man. Patrick Carter, that's not, you can't go off somebody having a recessive gene. You have to understand the place where we come from is the most phenotypically diverse place in the world. So somebody having a recessive trait does not indicate their lineage. They just are recessive. Well, you have to understand spermiogenesis and how a sperm operates and how it chooses the traits that it takes on from father and mother. It has no bearing on who his father is and the lineage he comes from, what traits it is programmed to take on. Well, there's always two witnesses on this thing. Always. Line or two. Well, there are Israelites in Africa, but Africans in general are certainly not Israelites. And Africa isn't nearly as messed up as any black person in America would like to believe. Africa is actually pretty a plush place. I wouldn't say they're being misled intentionally by the Most High. Be in Long Beach tomorrow, 4 o'clock, Long Beach Boulevard or PCH. Exactly, phenotype means that. We all various mutations. These mutations can occur to anybody. How do you think a fully black person could come out albino? There's nothing more recessive than that. I'm not concerned with the lost books of the Bible. Nothing wrong with playing the lottery, but you waste a lot of money doing that. It's a father's line mutation. Give me some more information on that, Patrick Carter. You can get these Hebrew Israelite clothing go on Instagram or Facebook. Take thy staff on Instagram for the sticks, or Zion Awakes by Matatu Abbas on Instagram. Africans aren't as cursed as you think. All praise Yahweh Shemel Shai. Man, what's up, man? You never emailed me back, man. I've been supposed to send you that. Look, he didn't even mention, well, he mentioned it, but I've been supposed to send you that. We got to get you something else. So I get you something fly, man. You got to hit me though. We'll be in Long Beach tomorrow, 4 o'clock, Long Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. Good point, I am. How do you deal with anger? Take some deep breaths. Tactics, freights. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. When you take a look at the phraseology employed for how they navigated the river, it's only times that's ever used in the Bible is dealing with sailing on ships. And they didn't have to necessarily build the ships. Deep voices are higher and voice of those deep. I mean, by that logic, every man has a low vibration. That's, I don't know what spookism you're into. Very true, Afro. Go ahead. You don't have to divorce anybody. Kenny Taylor. Go ahead.
This is just going back to 2 Ezra 13, because a lot of guys say, well, it doesn't say ships there. It says, what does it say? They passed over, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is Mark 6:53. And when you go up, they're clearly in a ship, right? Going over the sea. It says, and when they had passed over, they came into the land of Gennesaret and drew to the shore. So showing right here that passed over is in reference.
Yeah. It's only ever in reference to a ship when dealing with a body of water. Yeah, you got to teach, man. Yeah, Jason Luke, the Mongols. Yeah, we don't have a fixed Sabbath. Our Sabbath is predicated upon what Yahweh gave us, which is the moon and the lunar cycle. Yeah, I caught it. I'm just a little bit late because I'm trying to make sure we don't miss nothing. Yeah, it's okay to not eat meat if you don't want to. How can you learn what I can? By watching the videos, man. Where you located, Kenny Taylor? Stop being weak. My word for brothers lost on drugs is stop being weak. Be a damn man. Stop looking for escapes. And be useful. Exodus 30 and 23. Man, I don't know if I'm ever visiting Alabama. Oh, you in damn Afghanistan. You bugging. The serpent in the Garden of Eden was not an animal, Satan, or the white man. The serpent in the Garden of Eden were Canaanites or proto-Canaanites, not literal, actual descendants of Canaan, but the equivalent to them prior to the flood. Go ahead.
This is the cannabis thing that you always try to go to. Exodus 30 and 20.
Go ahead.
I knew it as soon as I knew it.
Go ahead.
Exodus 30 and 23. Take thou also unto thee principal spices.
Mm-hmm.
Principal spices of pure myrrh, 500 shekels, and of sweet cinnamon, half so much, even 250 shekels, and of sweet calamus, 250 shekels.
Calamus ain't weed, but watch this. What was it at? Where we at?
23.
30 and 23?
Yeah.
Watch this. This is very special. Read 32. Read 32. Watch this. If anybody ever tries to go here to try to say it's weed, read 32.
30 and 32. On man's flesh shall it not be poured.
Read.
Neither shall you make any other like it. After the composition of it, it is holy, and it shall be holy unto you.
He said, you shall never make anything like it. So if you're trying to use that to justify weed and say never make nothing like that, that's only for a very specific thing. And it's not for smoke. So don't ever make anything like it. So you can't go there to try to justify your drug habits. That's out. What else we got? How you advise you follow the phases of the moon to determine. We have a calendar up on our website, Exodus1715.org. You can go there for that. Yeah, it was describing his characteristics. We got breakdowns on it. You can check out on the channel. Yeah, I mean, I got a video I did on the streets of it. I ain't put out yet because it's a part of like a debate series that we did on the streets. But essentially, it's understanding the tree. You have to understand the trees, what tree is what, being in the midst of the garden, etc. You know. Yeah, God himself is black. You go to Revelations 4, you can prove that. New York again, I'm not sure. Probably next year. Twig to the nose, that's Zephaniah. That's Zephaniah. I don't know why I want to. Twig to the nose is, I want to say that's in, what is that, in Zephaniah or Zechariah? But don't worry about it. Own your own business, that's the great thing. If you can do it, I encourage all brothers that can do that. It's a lot. We got that. Go ahead.
2 Samuel 7:12. When thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men and with the stripes of the children of men.
So that's about Solomon, but Solomon was never chastised with the rod of men. He went through that as Christ. Revelations 4, Afro. Yeah, the branch to the nose, not twig to no branch to the nose. It's in the description. Just go to the description. No, that was the Most High. Yahushua is quoting that. That's a part where the red letter gets tricky. He's quoting something, and people think he's speaking of himself, but he's making a quote. Reading in context would show you what he's talking about. But with that, we're going to close out. Yeah, we read the Torah. With that, we're going to close out. Give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Nightmare on Elm Street tonight. Elm and Malcolm X, downtown Dallas around midnight. Tomorrow, 4 o'clock, Long Beach is going down. There'll also be camp here in Dallas as well as Seattle. In Atlanta, Unity Camp with HOI as well. With SICARRI brothers out there. So check us out. And next week, the summit in Detroit. Again, all praise Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Shalom.
Shalom.